Hey, what's up guys? This is Stuart Richland and this is my video blog. What I'm going to talk to y'all right now with this video is specifically how to run and gun and how you can be more accurate whenever you're running and gunning. So I have another video where I talk about how I hold my gun, where I put my hands and everything, but I'm not going to go really that far into it. What I do want to talk about again is this pocket area and where I put the butt of my gun whenever I'm running and gunning. So specifically for this, you want to make sure that gun is nice and secure so it's not bouncing up and down. So for me, I call this area right here my pocket. And my pocket, pretty much, if you take your right arm and put it against your right side where your bicep and your arm and your chest meet, going right back there towards your armpit area, that's what I like to call the pocket. So the middle of my tank is pulled right in there. Not really too tight, but just nice and snug so it's stable and I feel like it's in control. While that gun's in the pocket, I can move my gun up and down, do whatever I want to do with one hand. Again, the left hand is right here on the front of the gun and I'm ready to go. If I'm running and gunning to my right side, the gun is always in my right hand. So if I'm moving this way, I'm coming across my body here. If I'm moving to the left, it's in the left pocket, the gun's in my left hand, and I'm coming across my body here. One, it's a lot more natural for me. I feel comfortable and I'm more accurate. It goes against your body's movement. Say if you had that gun in the right hand and trying to move to the left, you have to cross your legs and it's really just not very effective as far as running and gunning. You can run and gun however you want, but these are just my tips for you. So if you want to adopt some of them, and use them, you're more than welcome to. If you want to keep on doing your thing, you're more than welcome to as well. What I do want to show you, I want to show you running and gunning, and I'm going to give you an example of it. But first I also want to talk about stabilizing your midsection. Being able to run and gun effectively has a lot to do with being able to stabilize that midsection. And that also helps by stabilizing that gun, controlling that barrel so that barrel isn't bouncing up and down. It has a lot to do with your core strength and how you're running in general. If you're taking big steps and you're lifting your legs up really high whenever you're running, typically you're not able to stabilize that core quite as much, and therefore your gun is going to be bouncing up and down and your shots are just going to be not as accurate as they could be. But if you're running and your feet are a little bit closer to the ground, where you're not taking not necessarily as long as steps, but as high as steps, so you're able to control that midsection a little bit more. So whenever you're stepping, if you're running and your legs are really and your feet aren't lifting off that ground as much, well then you're able to stabilize that core a lot more. Understand, if you're really sprinting all out and trying to run down the field, which sometimes you have to because obviously you have to run down the field quickly, but in general it's a lot harder to stabilize that core. So I want you to understand that running and gunning, being more accurate, has a lot to do with stabilizing your midsection, taking nice even strides with your feet low to the ground, and then controlling that gun and controlling that barrel. But by doing all that stuff, you're able to really control your gun, and it has, like I said, a lot to do with stabilizing that midsection and how you're running in general. Okay guys, one more aspect that we have to talk about is how we're taking these steps in general and how we're landing on our feet whenever we're running down the field. So there's a few different ways that people run. Some people run on the balls of their feet, which is more up high, closer to the toe area whenever they're pushing off. Other people will run flat-footed, and then other people are going to run heel to toe. For me in general, I feel like I'm able to control my body and stabilize my my core and my upper body and that gun a lot better whenever I'm running heel to toe. So pretty much every time I'm taking a step, I'm landing on my heel, I'm rolling down to my toe, and then I'm pushing off with those balls of my feet. Then my next step as well, I'm landing on the heel, I'm rolling down to my toe, and then I'm pushing off with the balls of my feet. And that's every step that I'm taking going down the field. That's able to really control what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm able to send more accurate shots whenever I'm running down the field, whenever I'm using a heel to toe technique rather than running flat-footed or on the balls of my toes, or balls of my feet. So you need to see next time you run, what are you doing? Are you running on the balls of your feet? Are you running flat-footed? Are you using a heel-to-toe technique? Like I said, I use a heel-to-toe technique. It doesn't mean you have to, but I feel like I'm able to control my body a lot more whenever I'm using that heel-to-toe technique. Now I'm going to show you a couple examples of me running and gunning. The first one, I'm going to be more of at a sprint, moving much quicker. My barrel's going to be bouncing a little bit more. The second one, I'm going to be running a lot more controlled, and you'll see that my barrel isn't bouncing as much, so I'm able to really control where I'm sending those balls. But I'll show you that now. Okay, so you see for that first one, I was more at a sprint. I wasn't able to really stabilize my core while I was running. My gun was kind of bouncing up and down. Therefore, my shots are going to be a lot less accurate whenever I'm trying to shoot at my target. For this next one, I want you to notice how I run and how my feet are closer to the ground whenever I'm moving. This allows me to stabilize my core, stabilize my gun a lot more, and the barrel isn't going to be bouncing quite as much as that first example. Okay guys, that's my video as far as how to shoot more people whenever you're running and gunning, and how to be more accurate whenever you're running and gunning. I appreciate y'all watching. I definitely like some comments on this. If you have anything to add, anything that you want to try to teach me about this, I'd greatly appreciate anything that you have for me. Besides that, definitely comment up, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more videos coming for y'all. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll be seeing y'all again.